Alright guys, today we're going to draw a hippo. What I can do is I'll lead you through this. I don't know if you want to work through it at the same time as I do, or if you just want to watch and then read the instructions and do it, or if you want to read the instructions first and then only refer to the video whenever you want. Either is fine. I have a README document here. Let's go and take a look. So here are the RGB colors that we might want to use. For the light blue, for the dark blue, and for the pale yellow. And here I note some of the terms are a bit odd as the tutorial was written for a much older version of Illustrator. It refers to nodes, which are now called anchors. It refers to mirroring, which we call reflecting. And then for step 6, use the Pathfinder. We'll go ahead and start and refer back to this. I'm just going to tuck into my head that at step 6, we're going to come look and follow the instructions here. Alright, so the instructions are both online at this site and on this Word doc. So I'm going to go ahead and open the Word doc. Here's our preview of our image. I keep thinking it kind of looks like a Pokemon. I don't know if y'all remember the Pokemon named Meryl, but the head of it here, if you took these things out, took those out. Anyways. So we're going to create the head of the hippo. We're going to draw an oval shape. We're going to stretch the node up using a white cursor. Make it look like that. So using an oval, draw a simple oval shape. Using the select tool, modify the shape and then place a copy of the oval shape over the modified shape. That seems kind of backwards. It seems like we ought to make a copy of the shape before we put it on top. So I'm going to make a copy of the original oval. Of course, you could always redraw the oval. So I'm going to make a new document, call it hippo. How's about you stop popping that stuff up and you just let me make the new document. Alright, so I clicked on print. I'm going to pick one of these, a letter size document. Doesn't really matter which color mode, but I'm going to pick RGB anyways, just because my instructions referenced are some RGB colors. There we go. That's going to be our document. First step, let's draw an oval. Right away, I'm going to make a copy of it, just like I mentioned. So I'm going to hold the Option key down while dragging it with the black cursor. And you know your own ways of copying. You can just, copy and paste whatever you want. So we're going to grab the node, the top node, with the white cursor and drag it up. Select the copy and move it over the first stretched oval. Wouldn't be a bad idea to colorize it. I don't know why they're waiting so long to colorize it. The oval, the kind of guitar pick shaped one, we're going to color it light blue. And then the oval, we're going to make it dark blue. Why not add that as a comment? Make sure I got that right. Right. Guitar shape's going to be light blue and the oval's going to be dark blue. Let's get to it. If we look at it, they removed the stroke from it. Maybe you can't tell that they removed the stroke. Let's leave that alone though. I don't care if there's a little bit of a stroke. All right. So how do I change the node? I grab the white. I select it with the black cursor. I grab the white cursor, the direct select. I click and release on the anchor, and then I click again and pull it up. If you don't click and release it, like if you just do this, whoopsie, sometimes it moves the whole shape. It didn't give an example there. Sometimes not, but it's always better to click and select the anchor and then click and drag it, if that makes sense. All right, I don't like the workspace the way it's set up. I'm going to change it from Essentials to Essentials Classic, just because I'm more familiar with it that way. All right, so the fill, I want to set to that light blue color that I had over here in my instructions. RGB 0, 127, 197. How do we do that? 127, 196. Sorry, my mistake. 127, 196. I'm going to come over here. Just a moment. Here we go. See where I clicked on the fill, I went over here, and here we have the swatches, but here we have the color mixer. You can type in the RGB values right there. And you can get to that by clicking on the little pull-down menu. It says RGB, HSB, CMYK, etc. So even if you made a CMYK document, you can still enter the colors as RGB. So our colors were 127, 196. Oh, that's actually the color for the nose, right? For the belly. So I'm going to create a swatch for this so that I can reuse the color anytime that I want. So I don't have to type those colors in over and over. How do you create a swatch? Come over to Fill, use the little hamburger menu, create new swatch, give it a name. Dark blue or Hippo dark blue or something like that, right? Click OK. And now whenever I come over here and click on my swatches, that new dark blue color is available for me to choose right there, which is useful because I need to make this dark blue. And this one should have been light blue. So I'm going to go back and choose its fill colors now, which were 41, 93, 151. No, that's not right. I'm going to go ahead and enter this in, and maybe I have the color swap, maybe not. 41, 93, 151. Switch to RGB mode. 41, 93, 151. Yes, I do think I have those reversed. That was actually the light blue and not the dark blue. If I go and compare to what I've got in the Word doc, should have been reverse. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and swap them. Right, so I'm just going to pick, whoops, I forgot to make a swatch out of this color. Not too late. I'm going to pick the light blue one, click on the hamburger menu, create swatch. And this is Hippo light blue copy, or Hippo light blue. And then this one here should have been Hippo dark blue. So I'm going to create a swatch from it. It means I'm going to have two swatches of the same color, but that's okay. Hippo dark blue. Now I don't know how to go back and delete the other one. but we'll be able to figure it out. Okay, fine. Hippo dark blue 2. So when I click on swatches, I'll see those colors there, and I can figure out which one's right. Right, that one needs to go away, and I don't know how to delete it, so I'm going to leave that alone. Maybe I could delete it from here. I could select it and then click that, and that'll delete that swatch. Click the trash can. That looks good. Okay, great. So the top of the guitar pick needs to be the light blue. The belly needs to be the dark blue. That's not the belly. That's going to be like the nose of it. And I really do think it would look better if we remove the stroke, if we set the strokes to, I'm going to leave them though. Next step, we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to make it smaller though so that we can draw an ear. So we're just going to draw another oval, stretch it out, turn it into an ear, right? Same business. I could even just copy the same shape and shrink it down, but all right. So there's my oval. I'm going to make a copy of it. If we look at the instructions, what colors should those be? The smaller one. I don't need to draw it the same way after all. Well, we do, but we're not going to need the copy of it. So I'm going to leave it with the original one. Look at the instructions a little bit more carefully. I think it's going to be the light blue color actually, and then we stretch it down to make another guitar pick shape. And then we're going to use object, path, offset path to make another copy of it. Okay. So I'm going to make that light blue using the swatches over here. I'm going to select it, use the white cursor, pull this down a little bit. Click. See, there's an example of when I clicked and pulled. It actually moved it, so I should have clicked and released and then clicked and pull. All right, now I need to use object, path, offset. Let me go and check the instructions really carefully. Object, path, offset, path, choose -9 points. Let's see how that's going to look. Object, path, offset path, -9 PT. Doesn't matter what units it's set to, make sure you type in the 9 PT in order to match the instructions. All right, so now we have a new one that we can color dark blue. Doesn't quite look the same. Maybe we could use 8 points or 7 points or something like that. Just happens to be the size that I drew my hippo. If I'd drawn my hippo larger, then it would have wound up looking better. So I'm going to undo those steps. You don't have to. But I'm going to choose object, path, offset path, and use a smaller size. Instead of -9, how about -5? That looks good. There we go. I'm going to need 2 copies of these ears. Well, not 2 copies. I'm going to need a second set, right? But what am I going to do first? I'm going to rotate it. So all I do is highlight it with a black cursor, select it all, bring my cursor over here, drag it over, kind of put it where I want. But I want to make a copy of these 2 things now so I can put them over here. And you know what? Might want to group them. So I'm going to choose Object, Group. Then I'm going to choose Object, Transform, Reflect. The instructions say mirror. We're going to use reflect. We're going to do vertical reflection, so it's left to right. We're going to choose copy. And there, now we have a second set, right? We can drag him over here. Now we have his ears. It's really getting about time to remove all the strokes, I think. I don't think that they look good. So I'm going to select everything. Come up here, and for the stroke color, I'm going to set the stroke color just to the red bar. Yeah, typo there, slightly rotated. See, I need to retype the whole thing rather than just with the screenshots. It's not a mirror tool. Oh well, that's why you're watching the video, huh? All right, draw small black circles for eyes, and then draw some larger ones for the nose. No problem, I know how to do that, don't I? I can make a small black circle, so I'm going to choose the black fill, draw a small black circle. I'm going to make a copy of it. So I'm going to click it and then option drag it. Option drag gives me 2 copies of it. Or makes a second copy, excuse me, anyways. I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to select them both with shift clicking and option drag them down here and then enlarge them to make the nostrils. You don't have to do it that way, right? However you want to get them, right? There we go. All right, here's where it starts to get a little bit strange. Not as weird as it's going to get, but we need to draw a tooth. And then we need to make a second tooth, which is just a mirror of it, a reflection of it. So maybe we could use the pen tool to draw that tooth. I know, we hate the pen tool. It needs to actually have a stroke, at least in my opinion, so that we can watch what we're doing and maybe give it a white fill. And just at first, right? We'll probably may wind up removing the stroke completely, but it'll help see it at the beginning. Okay. Take a look at the instructions one more time. All right, that's about where the tooth is supposed to be. Click, release, click, release, click, release, click, release. Go back to the original one, click, release. Maybe that looks a little bit dumb. I can use the black cursor to select it. I can use a white cursor to select and release one of the anchor points and drag it and see if I can make it look about like how I want it to look. And of course it's doing the thing where it's jumping to that last point. All right, now need to reflect it. So I'm selecting it, Object, Transform, Reflect. Again, I want a vertical reflection. Preview it, copy it, drag that one over here. Getting to the point where I almost feel like we ought to group the whole thing, but yeah, let's go on. Let's see what he has to say here. Create a rectangular shape and reflect the tooth to make a copy. Create a black outline. Reserve 2 copies. Alrighty, so create a copy of the whole hippo head. Select the copy and use Add to Shape area and expand. Alright, this is at step 6 that we mentioned over here. Let's go and look at our warning about step 6. For step 6, use the Pathfinder. Alt-click on the Unite button. Wonder why Alt-click, and then click the Expand button. Set the fill. Alrighty. So it says reserve 2 copies. I guess I'm going to make 2 copies of the head. So I'm selecting everything. I'm going to option click, or however you like to make your copies. There's one of them. I'm going to option click. Whoops, I just dragged the oval. My mistake. Select the whole shebang again. Option click and drag. Oh, come on. What am I doing wrong now? Fine, I'm going to use copy paste. Copy, paste. Get it out of the way for whatever purposes we're using these. All right, now what are we going to do? We're going to use the Pathfinder to make it all black, to make it one shape. So select the copy and use Add to Shape Area and expand. I believe it's called Unite now. But anyways, I'm going to, oh, maybe it was because I was using a direct select. I don't know. Select it all, use the Pathfinder. Where can I find a Pathfinder? Well, it's over here, but I'm just going to choose Window, Pathfinder, Unite, which is that option, and expand. Can't say that it did exactly the same as theirs was going to do, but I can make it look exactly the same. Now, my little helpful hint said to Alt-click on this thing. I just undid that. Option-click on it. I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to undo that and just choose that. And I'm going to go and make the fill black. I think that's where we're going with this. And then we're going to change the stroke. So we're going to add the stroke, use a round join. And we're going to make the stroke 18 points, although we'll adjust it to size, right? I may wind up making a little bit less. So that's the stroke palette over there. As always, you can get to it over here too, as window, stroke. Well, there certainly aren't very many options here, are they? So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on the hamburger menu, choose Show Options. I want round corners. Wonder why. Not sure that that's going to look great, but we can always follow it. It suggested, I believe, 18 points. Go back and look. Right click, arrange, and send to back. So right click, arrange, send to back. And then move it behind our original hippo. Boom, now he's got a nice big thick corner. Should say nice big thick outline, and the tooth have these kind of cute smooth to the outline. And that's really, as far as I'm concerned, about enough, but they go on and add another outline to him. Right, and this one they wanted to be gray. So that's why we made two copies of him. We're just going to follow the same steps and make this one have a 26-point stroke. So I'm going to select, I don't know what I just clicked there. My mistake. All right, so by holding down the space bar, I can turn this into the hand, push this over a little bit. All right, select this. Use the Pathfinder. Unite. Set the stroke color to gray. Expand the stroke. What did they say? 26 points? Something enormous. 26 PT. That's got to be too large. That's what they say. But anyways, I'm going to send it to back, put it behind there, and see how it looks. Time to get rid of these palettes. Getting in my way. Why not add a fill to it too? Okay. Right click, send to back. Arrange, send to back. Then drag it behind here. No, that wasn't too big. But I forgot to do a round stroke, right? So it's looking pretty weird. I'm going to undo that. I wouldn't have to undo it, but I'm going to undo it. undo that drag, go back and choose stroke, make them rounded corners. Drag it back over here. But that looks lousy. Keep working at it. Now the problem with the way they've done this is that now you can't go and select it based on its stroke. And I don't know why, but I'm trying to click on the gray part so I can move it, and it's not letting me do that. So what I really should have done is grouped the hippo all together before I started doing all this business so that I could move the individual pieces around. And I guess it's not too late, but I'm going to undo that step. And I guess I'm going to group all this just to make that easier to move. So I highlight it all, drag a box around it, group, and then move him on top of it. And keep messing with it until it looks about pretty good. There, I think that looks pretty good. So what are we going to do next? Well, we're going to use the pen tool, and this is the hardest part actually, to draw a flipper-shaped arm. And you know what, if you just kind of wanted to stop there, that'd be far enough, but give it a shot. Give the pen tool a shot. So using the pen tool, draw a shape for the arm. So you know how to draw the straight lines and you know how to draw the curves. Now, I may totally botch this, but I'm going to give it a shot. And some of y'all may be pen tool masters. All right, so let's give it a shot. I wonder if I could shrink the Illustrator window just a bit so I can keep all that stuff on the screen at the same time. I guess I can. All righty. I'm going to drag this over here. All right. Well, now I've lost my pen tools. I dragged them off. All right. Pen tool. Here goes nothing. Click and release to draw a straight line. Click and release. Oh no, it's got that horrible stroke set on it. Let me undo all that. Choose a black cursor to stop doing this. I've got something lousy there. I'm going to delete that. All right. Set it back to a normal size stroke. Black with just one point. And it looks like it's going to be filled with the light blue. So I'm choosing a white blue. There we go. Try it again. Click and release. Well, choose a pen tool. Click and release. Click and release. And come down about under here and click and release. Except pull so it drags a shape like that, right? So I'm keeping my mouse button down while I do that. Then I'm going to come back over here, kind of in line with that one. Click and pull. Out to about the original shape. I mean to the original corner and leave that. And then I'm going to use the white cursor to move these points to see if I can make it look more arm-like. So I'm going to click the handle, move it, click the handle. I'm not liking the way I did it. Like I said, this is really by far the most aggravating part. Alrighty. I think that's good enough for me. What I'm going to do then is rotate it. That looks really bad, and for some reason the stroke only looks okay. I gotta try it again. Gotta try it again. What about the curvature tool? Nah, I don't really understand the curvature tool. It's a newfangled way. Click and release, click and release, click and drag, come over here, click and drag, pulling that way. Maybe come over here and click and drag, and then click back on the original anchor. Since I'm going to put this arm behind it, I think that that's okay anyways. But yeah, I can move the anchors around a little bit, see if I can make it look a little bit better. You know what, that's going to have to do. Let's rotate it a little bit, put it behind its head, so with the black cursor rotating, right click, send to back, right click, arrange, send to back. All right, what does it want us to do next? It wants us to draw these toenails. The toenails are kind of annoying, but we could do them, right? They're just little ovals. And then what do? It says use the divide tool, and it misspells it. I really shouldn't rewrite this with my own words, to cut off the extra half circles. So we're going to use Pathfinder divide. Pathfinder divide. So grabbing that, choose the dark blue. No, wait, sorry. Color the arm. Deselect everything first, right? Like with the black cursor, or select, deselect, so that I can then grab the oval, the ellipse, draw one toenail, draw another one, move them around. So here we go. We're going to fill them dark blue. I didn't fill it dark blue. Try again. Fill dark blue. Select, fill dark blue. And then here's the step where the magic occurs. They want us to select the whole thing, use the divide tool to cut off the extra half circles. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select both the arm and the two toenails. Maybe I'll move that toenail a little bit closer. You know, we spend all day trying to change the way these things look. All right, so select everything having to do with the arm. I still don't like the way the toenails look, and I got to stop fussing with it. All right, select the entire arm. But not the teeth or whatever. You can always just use shift click on the arm and hold the shift button down and click one toenail, and then keep the button down and click the other. Okay, that's not actually working. All right, anyways, you know how to do it. Select everything, bring up the Pathfinder, window Pathfinder, not pattern options. There's a misclick. Window Pathfinder, choose divide. And although we can't see it unless we increase the stroke width, right? Now the toenails can be gotten rid of. We do not need the stroke length. We actually need to set the strokes to 0 pretty soon. And I will do that, but I'm going to lower it to 1 first. Holding the Option button, the Alt button. Here we go. Now I can double click on the extra part of the toenail that needs trimming, or fingernail. Double click on that. I can pull it away. You saw that? I had to double click several times to get it to work. Double click it, pull it away. Great. Then I can delete that. I'm just going to click on that and hit the delete backspace button. Do the same for that one. Took a couple double clicks to get it ready. All right. And then since it says I'm in a group, I want to get out of the group, so I'm going to choose layer 1 up here. Right? There I go. Maybe there's an easier way of doing that, but it worked. Can't say that I like the way this looks. Maybe the arm was really supposed to be dark blue. Nope, nope, nope. All right, whatever. Now, I'm going to group all this together, right? Select the toenails on the arm, group them just because. Oh, it thinks they already are. Cool. Okay, but I do need to make a reflection of it. So with it selected, Object, Transform, Reflect, copy, move over here. And you know what? Before I make the reflection of it, I'm going to do the outline bit that it wants me to do. So I'm just going to delete that. Skipping ahead. So arrange, send to back. I know it's going to want us to make a copy of the arm and do the expand so that we can put a black copy around it and then a gray copy just like we did before. So let's do that. Let's make 2 copies of the arm. Alt click. Another alt click. Select the first arm. Use Pathfinder. Unite. Go to the stroke. Needs to be a black stroke. Guess it already is. We could fill it with black as well if we wanted to. But we're going to send it to back so it won't matter. Round join. I forget the size that we used for the last one. And then we're going to send it to back. Let's see how that looks when we drag it behind it. Could have been a little bit thicker. It's not too late. Then we're going to do the same thing with this arm, right? Pathfinder, Unite, change the stroke to 26, I think is what we made our gray one. Looks absurd, doesn't it? But since we drag it behind everything, it's going to look okay. Now Pathfinder, doing path offset would probably be a better way of doing this because like I said, the problem is that if we click on the black part, it doesn't actually select it anymore. We would have to drag this arm off and then we could select it. And as a matter of fact, I did not send this arm behind the hippo before I added this to it, so I'm going to have a little bit more to do once we're done with this. But anyways, make this have a gray stroke, see if I can match that color. All right. So right now we have 3 pieces. We have the original arm, we have the black stroke, and we have the gray stroke. And the order in which they need to be is that this needs to be the farthest behind, gray needs to be farthest behind, black needs to be kind of middling, and then blue needs to be in front. So blue is already in front, so we're already good there. But gray definitely needs to be arranged and sent to back. Well, that didn't work. Once more with feeling. All right. Now I'm going to select it all. Select the entire shebang and group it so that we can send it to back one more time and move it around. Object, group. Move it over here. I could do some further rotation or whatever I needed to. Right click, arrange, send to back. Make a reflection of it. Select, object, transform, reflect. Make a copy. Pull it over here. All right, now he's got his arms. The rest of it's pretty easy because all they want us to do is to draw a rectangle for a sign. His arms aren't even, are they? I'm not going to go crazy trying to match the arms up. But anyways, we need to draw a rectangle for him to be holding on to. So choosing a rectangle tool. Guess I actually did get it even that time. So they wanted a yellow rectangle with a thick black stroke with some text in it. Slapstick Comic Shaded is the font. If you happen to have that installed, I'm not sure that I do on this machine, but anyways, let's pick some yellowy color. The black stroke. It's already got a kind of nice black stroke of about 14 points. I'm good with that. Choose the text tool. I'm going to stretch the text out after I write it. So when you use the text tool, do not click and drag to create your text box. You will regret that. Instead, just click and release and start typing your text, because you can always stretch it out later. Now that I've typed the word hippo, I can use a black cursor to select my little bit of writing and increase its size by grabbing a corner, right? And let's see if I have that Slapstick Comic font. Type, font. Scroll on down, choose SF Slapstick Comic. Looks like we don't have it. How about phosphate? Well, that looks stupid. Didn't change anything, did it? All right, Arial Black. There we go. I'm not going to waste time trying to find a good font. There we go. And I'm going to send the sign and the font to the background, so I'm going to select both of those things. Right-click, arrange, send it back. There we go. I could group the sign together to make this part easier, right? But anyways, there. There's our hippo. All right. Good luck. If you get stuck, just wing it. Get as close as you can. If you get totally frustrated, just draw it as far as you can and stop, right? Kind of the only real super duper weird trick they did is to do that thing where they change the outline, right? Where they drew something and they set it to a really thin stroke. And then they copied that shape, use the stroke tool to give it a thicker stroke, maybe a different color so we can tell them apart. And then they did it once more, make a copy of that, increase the stroke again, give that a different color as well, right? Send this one to the back, send this one to the front, and then arrange them, right? That's how they did it. That's how they made this outline, right? There are other ways you can make the outline. All right, and then go ahead and save it as a PDF and upload it.